Hello, folks. 20 years with the beers. Well, this is a celebration, fellas. Okay, there's no real point to this video except that I started drinking beer 20 years ago this month at age 27. I won't tell you how old I am now. Eric, you're wearing a Coors Light hat, and interestingly,
yes,
I am drinking
the banquet.
Yeah, and you know, let me turn this heater off. It's a little warm in here. It's funny, when I started drinking beer as a project, it really started as a project 20 years ago, and I was saying, well, let me try a beer and see how I like it, and I figured I would, or probably would, so I bought Miller High Life, and the little 7-ounce, a 6-pack of the 7-ounce ponies.
Yes.
And drank it right out the bottle. You know, it wasn't at all fancy. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. It had a, you know, it brought back memories of being real young. And I thought, all right, it's got some interesting, I'm not going to say it was the greatest thing, but it had some interesting qualities that appealed to me. So I thought, I think I know what I'll do. I'll save this bottle, and then I'll start saving all of them, as you can see with the comic book. So I said, it got overwhelming after a while. I mean, there's only so much you can have. So I had to start limiting the collection. I got rid of all the light beers. I purged the collection of that. And then I decided to limit it to only mass-produced American beers and all Louisiana beers. And I had to purge that collection because it got so big. But one thing I noticed about Coors, you could make an entire beer bottle and can collection of just Coors Banquet, because they literally change the label sometimes 2 and 3 times a month.
Right.
So they tapped into that collector mentality. So I just started drinking everything, and you know, as a project. And at the very get-go, I was drinking craft beers and macro beers interchangeably. I knew there was some kind of little power, I don't want to say power struggle, a cultural struggle.
Right.
I can remember, like in 1993, there was a guy close to New Orleans. We went to their house for, I think, a Thanksgiving Day party, and his wife was saying, oh, he doesn't drink regular beers, he only drinks fancy stuff. And I think at the time he was drinking stuff like Dos Equis and I don't know, Guinness, stuff like that, which in 1993 is what you drank when you were being fancy. Even at that time, you would drink Foster's, sort of like if you're being fancy. And then the craft beer thing developed, and
right.
I remember, like around 1999 or 2000, I found out about Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, and I was just reading. I would never write anything. I would just read. And then around 2009, I decided to start doing the written reviews. And I think I might have seen, don't you write written reviews there?
Yes. Yeah, on Beer Advocate and on Rate Beer.
Yeah, and Jeff Lyons in New England, that's when I first had contact with him, because he was called Pub of Lions.
Right, I remember that, yes.
And I didn't understand how he was writing. I thought it was Poobo Lion. Poobo.
Oh, right.
I thought it was Pooh Buff. It was a strange, but then I realized later it was Pub of Lions. But then 6 years ago, going on 6 years ago, I'm going for supper in a half hour and won't be back. Oh, that's okay.
Yep.
Sure.
I tried to invite John Walker. I don't know if you want to send him a brief invite. He might join up if he can get in.
Just send him a link.
That's what I did, and he said it wasn't working, but I think he'll try it again. But anyways, go back onto your story if you would like to.
Okay, and John Walker.
Yeah, he might try to come on in if he can.
So then I started why is he sending me a video call? So
I don't.
People always do that. They'll send you the video call. It's like, no, you can't. If I'm on a video call, you can't send me a video call. Or maybe you can. I don't know how that would work. But so then I was bored one summer, and I was thinking, well, I said, I wonder if anybody ever thought. Mute that, please.
We're getting feedback from your end, John.
Hey, laptop right now. Up.
Okay.
So
Can't go through that. So anyway, all right, gotta get this straight. So I was wondering, I wonder if anybody ever thought of doing a video review. So I look on YouTube, and there was, I just typed in a comment there, Budweiser, and I saw Chad's beer reviews. And I think that was the first one I watched, and I thought, well, that was a pretty fair rating. He said it was a C, you know, average. So that's okay, because I noticed on Beer Advocate and Rate Beer, people were saying it was horrible, you know, horrible. I was thinking, I don't think that beer is horrible. I can understand that it's average or something, but
Right.
although I used to find that, I still find that Budweiser is harsh in a way. It's like, I used to say it has a finish like an ice pick to the forehead. I don't know where that comes from, but it does have that, but it's distinctive. I don't know how many people want to drink beer that gives them a feeling of have an ice pick to the forehead.
Absolutely.
But it does have something, a character to it, which, but so I said, well, maybe I could do beer reviews. So, I started doing that in November 2010. And people generally like it. I never did ask people to subscribe in any video. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't want to, don't. I never figured people needed to be told to do that. I mean, you know,
Right.
they can figure out if they want to follow a channel or not. But I've met a lot of good people, you know, like you and Jeff and John and Jean and a whole host of others. Some people get angry about my videos. Hey, John from Virginia. I think people get angry generally because they don't understand it. Like they're looking at it wrong.
Yeah, I guess people might think you're a little bit, and if you are, I think that's just what you think and what you feel. But I think some people think maybe you're just a little bit too positive and you like way too many beers all the time and you can't give a bad review anytime you want. But I think that's just because there's so many good beers out there. If I don't like a beer, you're gonna say you don't like a beer, but if you like it, right? That's honest.
Yeah, one guy said, why you give everything a B? I said, well, I don't give everything a B, but I was a teacher, you know, for 22 and a half years, and I would grade papers, and you have a grading scale, right? So I just use that in the beer reviews. It's pretty easy to do. A, excellent, B, good, C, fair, D, bad, and F, horrible, you can't even drink it. There's not too many Fs. There's a whole lot of C's and B's, probably more B's than C's.
Right.
There's some
and don't forget, F stands for failure. It's not too often they'll put a failure in a bottle.
Right.
You would think so, right?
So then, yeah, so I mean, even common stuff you buy around here, like I'm drinking this Coors, I mean, it's enjoyable to me, but yeah, Magnum, okay. I
found it in Carson, Virginia. I went crazy. I was like, oh my God, I found it. And
Eric's got stuff on there. Corbinian, right?
Yes, this is the Vitus Weizenbach.
Oh, Vitus.
Never had that.
Well, that's
Vitus. And I am going to show you guys, I guess this might be a cool time to do it, this little dandy machine thing here that I got a couple of weeks, probably about a week ago. It's called the Physics Freestanding Draft Beer System. Now, the cool thing about this little draft system here is it doesn't have to utilize, well, it doesn't utilize CO2 to tap a beer. And the other cool thing about it is you can use any size can or bottle or a 32-ounce growler all the way up to a 64-ounce growler. So you can pretty much get a growler tap filled up at a craft brewery and put it in here and tap a growler out of the thing. It's kind of interesting. All you got to do is it has this sort of little hose in it, and it's got a reservoir that you put the beer in. You don't pour the beer into the reservoir. You actually physically put your container of the beer inside, and you put the hose into the beer, and basically what it does is it'll maintain the carbonation once you put it inside of this chamber. It's pressurized so that it will try to keep the carbonation at a certain steady level. And the other cool thing that it does is, I guess this company is very they have an idea that the head of the beer creates all these different aromas and flavors, and they make a way that you can sort of kind of get a draft pour of a head almost like a nitrogen kind of a head without it being obviously on CO2 or nitrogen or anything like that. And I guess the way that they do that is you take a 60-degree angle pour and you press the tap straight forward, and when you're ready to tap put the head on the beer, you hold it backwards, the tap handle backwards, and what it does is, I guess, it creates sound waves that actually give you that nitrogen sort of a style pour. So if I hold this thing at a 60-degree angle, and you can probably hear this thing starting up, and I don't know if you can even really see this thing pouring at the moment.
Yeah, I can see it.
And about maybe a third or two-thirds the way up into the glass, you want to release that. You want to release that tap handle. So maybe right around here is where I'll release that tap handle, wait for the beer sort of to settle. So, I mean, there's where the beer is right now anyways. And then if I hold that tap handle in a backwards position, you'll see that almost a nitrogen head sort of try to come about. And it will try to pour out, yep.
Hey, you know what? That reminds me.
And there's the head. There you go.
That's very similar to what I encountered. You see, I went to that special Anheuser-Busch tour in August.
Yes.
Remember, I found out about it, so I ended up paying $5 too much because I could have gotten it for $25 and I paid $30.
Right.
But then I got to the brewery and they were like, "Oh yeah, you could pay right here." I said I had to pay this Ticketmaster service charge. But anyway,
Damn.
Yeah, right, $5. But I thought it's going to sell out, and I'm going to drive to Houston, and they're going to say it's sold out. Actually, it was at 10:30 in the morning. I was the only one on the tour.
Wow.
My friend Paul wanted to go, but I don't know. His wife was complaining about it or something. He was like, "It ain't worth it. I'm not going." All right, so, huh?
I know how that feels.
So he really wanted to go bad, but they have 4 little kids, so you got to think up. That's part of it too. But
Don't know how that feels.
not yet. Hey, but so I was reading about this before the brewery tour started. I mean, before I even went to Houston. They were saying there's this special new Budweiser called Budweiser Signature, I think it's called.
Huh.
Not Busch Signature, Budweiser, and they use that 2 thing that it's a tap like what you got. It's forward, then back, and So I went to the brewery, and the girl was like, "You want to try it?" I said, "Well, of course, I want to try it." And you can only get it at the brewery or at some select bars. So she said, "Well, there's only 2 bars in Houston that have it because nobody else wants to pay the money for the expense."
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that draft mark system.
It's similar to what you have. It makes like a nitrogen head on the Budweiser.
Yeah, they used. I think you can probably still buy. I think it's called draft mark. They have like these gallon jugs that you insert into the beer, into the beer dispensing system.
Yeah, but it's actually a separate. From what they say on the Anheuser-Busch Brewery Tour website, it's actually a separate Budweiser recipe.
Huh.
It's like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's like an more expensive gourmet Budweiser.
Huh.
Yeah, and they use that formulation. It was really good. I mean, it was enjoyable. And I told y'all they gave me too much to drink over there because there weren't too many people there that morning, and they were like, "Okay, you get 5 beers on your flight."
Oh,
They're like,
wow.
"Try all these, you know." And she says, "Oh, have you heard of this beer over here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's it. I've already drank my 5. "Oh, no, you could try this." And then she's like, "Oh, you want it?" She says,
Hey.
"Well, you want to try Land Shark Lager on draft? You ever had that on draft?" I said, "Well, no." "Oh, yeah, well, try this." So I'm like, golly. I mean, I had only eaten like this little bowl of cereal before I had gone. So I was like, oh, man.
How far do you live from Houston?
5 hours if the traffic's fine.
Damn.
6 hours if it's bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
When I visited the Jacksonville brewery, they had Budweiser signature.
Oh, yeah, you tried it?
Yeah, it was. They labeled it. It's served at 32 degrees. Did they say that there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the cool thing about this, again, the interesting thing about this physics system, I guess I'm trying to remember here. It was one of those GoFundMe kind of projects. I think it was on this web. It was kind of like Kickstarter. I think it was on a website called IndieGoFundMe or Indiegogo or something like that. And not even with I don't understand how this even works, but not even within 24 hours of this machine and this product going on this Kickstarter website, it met its goal in under 24 hours, and I guess in total this thing got I guess somewhere crazy like around $350,000 in not even 24 hours to get this thing started and going, because again, a lot of these companies I think were it was all maintenance and labor required, where you had to either buy the certain kind of packaging that you had to buy for the beer. There wasn't some kind of a bladder system like a box of wine, or you had to buy a certain kind of a cartridge to put that.
Yeah, so this one alleviates that because you just stick the product in there.
Yeah, the cool thing that I like about this is it's really cool. It's really cool with growlers, because if you go to a microbrewery and they fill that growler for you, and if you're pretty good about opening that pretty soon after you got the beer from that brewery, this system here is about the closest to a tap to a draft feeling beer that you're gonna get. And the other cool thing about it is, I mean, you probably saw that, if I can even do it again here. You probably saw that. Maybe it'll happen. Yep. It'll sort of give you that, like I said, like that almost a nitro kind of a forming head, but
that Guinness draft head.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a nice silky smooth kind of that nitrogen feel, but to some people, if you say you're like drinking a barley wine or an imperial stout or really big abrasive kind of IPAs, I think a lot of people would prefer to just pour those things in, because especially with a really big IPA, let's say, I've heard some people say that it sort of overly smooths out the flavors of the IPA, where you really want that sharp bitterness, and sometimes that nitrogen kind of a feel is gonna smooth it out a little bit too much.
Yeah, it might not work for every beer. Hey, but look at John's running around this room. So it's been.
I gotta take a beer out of the freezer. I got it cold, and I don't want it to bust.
Let's see.
You don't have to run for us. Hey, That's cool, Eric. That's a cool thing. They didn't have anything like that that I can recall 20 years ago. But yeah, I was saying before you start talking about that device that some people get irritated with my videos because I think from what I've seen with them, their discussions, and I don't, and I gotta say, I don't disagree with what they say. Like they're saying, oh, he likes all this common stuff. I can't disagree with that because it's true.
Good beer, Johnny.
Or like with John drinking.
Was that pineapple sculpin?
No, hold on. I got a story to tell you. But first, Jay, I don't get why people. It's really hard to see how one day you're posting Ballast Point and the other day you're posting Magnum. You're a beer lover, so.
That's the only reason why.
You're a beer lover.
Some people get so furious about it.
It's pathetic.
Pour a pint, chill out, and relax with us. Anybody can
it's like
join
some
us
people they
anytime.
take their job too seriously. Some people just they take things way too seriously. But the
I agree with that.
Ballast Point rep for the Virginia area was at my Total Wine store. They had the mango.
Oh,
okay.
Heel. Yes.
Yeah, they had Longfin Lager, the IPL, the regular Sculpin, pineapple Sculpin, grapefruit Sculpin, habanero Sculpin.
Yeah, habanero.
And the Victory at Sea Coffee Stout.
But you know what bothers me about that?
What?
Worried they're gonna become like go off the rails with that and turn into Samuel Adams, where you're starting to get less from more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only reason I bought this was because it was $12 a six-pack, and I will not pay more than $12 for a six-pack.
So I mean, so far Ballast Point's been good, but you know how it starts becoming less from more. But
and
maybe not.
I found this.
Oh, the milk stout.
Do y'all like Left Hand?
Yes.
Of course.
Well, they have milk stout, and now they have sweet stout.
Oh,
I'll try that.
Wait.
It's called sweet stout.
Yeah,
That's not the nitro version, but that's still a pretty good.
No, it's not a nitro. It's.
Yeah, people ask me, what did you prefer, the nitro or the regular milk stout? I say it was a tie for me. I thought they were both good. It's like grapefruit sculpin and regular sculpin. I couldn't even really tell the difference. They both tasted like IPAs, and they were very delicious. A+.
The regular sculpin is my favorite. I mean, I can only have one of them and I'm good. It's just so much hops in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But the description of this beer is, roasted malts and coffee notes build the foundation of a creamy, sweet stout. Pretty
Sounds
simple.
damn good.
I already tried one. It was pretty good, and it's definitely a milk stout. It was creamy and exactly what the description said.
Yeah, so y'all haven't been doing this for 20 years, but, well, after all, we're all born at different times, right? So
yeah, this May will be 7 years since I've turned 21. 7.
yeah. So
and I was already and because I'm trying to remember specifically. I don't even really remember the first kind of memory I've had of craft beer. I've just known craft beer in my household because my father used to really. I mean, he still does. That he really loves craft beer, and he was the first guy that really got me into just that general idea of just trying everything. Like, don't have like really a closed mind. Just sort of try everything and try to support your local breweries or your local brands as much as possible, and you might appreciate something because of that.
yeah, and it's like, look, most people are cool about it. They're like, oh, you drink this, you drink that, how'd you like it, and we'll talk about it. And some people got these hiccups like, oh, you're always doing these examinations, and y'all sit there and talk for 40 minutes about Bud Dry, not Bud Dry, Bud Ice. Can't talk about Bud Dry.
Right.
Like, well, and my attitude is like, well, so what? I mean, why does it matter? I mean, why is that such a big deal? Like, oh, and you post advertisements, old beer ads on Facebook. Well, I always did like to look at old beer ads. I mean, it doesn't matter. Don't look at them. I mean, it's like this is not, and this is what I was saying Wednesday. I don't know if you agree. You may disagree. To me, it's not like you might say, what's the goal of what you're doing? There is no goal. There's no goal. There's no end game. There's no greater, like I was talking about that Wednesday, a quest. There's no quest. It's not, there's no point to it except that we like to drink beers, and maybe I have a childish approach, but I like to look at different beer labels and
the artwork.
yeah, the artwork on the labels and read about the history of the company, whether it's a big company, a small company, if it got bought out or didn't get bought out.
Or if it's been around since 1040 AD, like Weihenstephaner.
Weihenstephaner, yeah, like so.
Artwork.
Yeah, like, there's no, yeah, right. So there is no goal. So if you're somebody and you're doing beer reviews as like this great thing,
Yep.
there's this great purpose, then you might be irritated with what you and Eric and John and myself and all the other gang do because we don't have a purpose.
No.
No. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, the only thing that I say when I do my own personal beer reviews on my channel, Thomas Meadows 75, I do the Massachusetts beer reviews. The only thing that I say, the only thing that I universally say is, you know, I start with one thing. I say the same thing when I start, and I say the same thing when I end. And when I end, my sort of a catchphrase or tag, if you will, is, and it says it on my beer bottle openers that I have. They I don't know if you can read that. It says, "Keep tasting those great beers," and that's all that that's my sort of word of advice. Keep tasting great beers. Cheers. See you soon. I mean, really, if it's good to you, then that is absolutely the beer worth drinking for yourself. If it's good to you and it's not good to me, well, personally, I'm not going to be offended if say I like 90-minute IPA and you would rather drink Bud Ice. That's fine. That's fine. If that's a good beer to you, that is all that matters in this world.
I like both of those, but yeah, it's like I'm drinking this, and some people roll their eyes and want to go jump off a cliff right now. I'm drinking Coors, although Walmart charged me too much because on the shelf it said $4.28, and I looked at the receipt and it said $4.64. So I said, wait a minute.
Wait, is it Coors Banquet?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I bought the 6-pack of the tall cans, okay?
You ever had it on draft?
No. But, I mean, it's really enjoyable. I'm enjoying this beer. Now, you might say it's a trash beer, it's garbage beer. I don't care what you say. I like it, okay? I'm not going to get on the internet and lie. I mean, if I like it, I like it. What do you want me to say? You want me to just lie and just do Louisiana lies?
Lie reviews, right? Yeah.
Right. It's like this. I don't know. I can't get over all of that. And then some people get so angry and they're like caught up in all this angst. Like
there's definitely there in the beer online YouTube and Rate Beer and Beer Advocate reviewing sort of community on the internet. There's, to me, definitely two kinds of people. I mean, there's three kinds of different kind of beer drinkers if you watch YouTube. If you watch craft beer or macro brews or those 40-ounce guys. But really, when it comes to reviewing those beers, there are really either people that like, I guess there are really three people. There are people that like craft beer, and that's just their thing, and they don't like anything else but a craftier style of beer. There are people that like those kind of beers like Coors Banquet that are perfectly fine just drinking those beers and can talk about those forever. And then there are people like all three of us here, yourself, John, and I, that drink a more of a mass-produced kind of an American lager, but we enjoy a craft beer every now and then, and that's totally and utterly okay to like both things. You don't have to keep a closed mind just because, say, John's Even Keel has a little bit more of a complex flavor than, say, Jay's Coors Banquet. Who really cares? Well, now he's drinking Magnum. There you go. Perfect example.
Right. And look, I don't mind. Yeah, tap the plastic. I don't mind if people
So
Or
gangster.
I don't mind if people are like limited, like I only drink these expensive $18 bottles of beer. I don't mind that. It's kind of interesting. Like I'll watch their videos if I've had the beer, and I'm like, that's really interesting. I mean, I personally wouldn't pay that much for every beer, but I mean, it's really interesting. It's impressive to me that they pay all this money, and I mean, I don't spend a whole. I mean, maybe I'll just review more of the lower end.
Yeah, we all can't live the beer geek nation lifestyle, can we?
We all don't make 100,000.
We couldn't.
Oh.
Well, I was talking to a guy today, and he was saying, it's massive beer review.
Yes.
And
Yes.
He does like really expensive beers all the time.
Oh yeah, Matt. Yes, Matt.
I watch him when I've had the beer. So I was telling him today. I said, you do the most exemplary beers. I can never keep up with what you're doing. And he said, oh, you could keep up if you would buy all the great beer I drink. He said, but I don't do the lower end stuff that you do.
Yep.
Because I don't. What did he say? I don't do the lower end stuff you do because I don't find them worthy of a review. And
right.
my channel would be a lot different if I did those beers. And I said that's true. So it's like you can hit whatever point you want to hit. I don't care. Like if you want to only do like the top of the line, or you want to do the middle or the low, or like like you're saying, you and myself and John Sharon, we do the whole gamut.
It's the terminology of beer in general. That's all we review is beer.
Yeah, and I mean I do silly stuff like the Malt Liquor Project where I'm tapping the bottle and.
You keep it upbeat and intro. You keep it a little bit upbeat. It's not just beer.
It's not really that serious. And like I was talking to Maria about this yesterday. Maria never joins us too much at night because she doesn't like doing it at night. But I said, I was like, yeah, people get so mad, And she was saying, yeah, it's funny. She was telling me this yesterday, Maria Devine. She said it's funny, I said, yeah, you're a crazy person, and I'm a imbecile and all of that, And she was like, hey, and she said, I'm just a Carnival Barker. I said, that was a great thing for you to say. That's what Maria said. I'm just a Carnival Barker.
Yeah, she had one. I mean, I don't want to say anything negative towards anybody, but I think for a while, I think she finally came out of her shell, which was great. I think for a while she got a little bit intimidated by the fact that all these men were reviewing all these big boy beers, and it was like, oh, some woman wants to come in and try to review beers now. But I think
she had some problems that she never talked about online with some of the men. But
yeah. But to me, she's felt very, very comfortable, and she has a great knowledge of beer itself, which is a great asset in the beer community.
Right, and she does stuff like reviewing potato chips.
I like it.
And people get so angry. Look at this maniac, this nut. This woman's got mental problems.
That's almost like Swillengrog in Australia. He'll review those kind of things too.
But she said, like she said yesterday, I'm a Carnival Barker. It's not meant to be serious. It's like a joke in a way.
Right.
Joke. The whole thing is a joke. This whole thing, in a way, is a joke.
Until YouTube starts paying us to do this, it's a joke.
Right? We're on YouTube and we're talking and people are watching and we're saying, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're drinking this, he's drinking Magnum, he's showing this draft pack, I'm drinking Coors Banquet, and we're talking about the whole beer drinking culture, and we're just not getting upset about it.
Hey, Jay.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I just don't care.
Exactly.
I mean, I care about beer, but I don't care about the quest.
Hey, Jay. I know you're, like, with fruit beers, you're kind of, I'm not saying a negative view on them, but you're not real thrilled about reviewing them. Like strawberry.
Wait, time out. So now y'all can come at me and you can deconstruct me. And I'm cool with that. Okay, what? Go ahead, Jonathan.
I know you're not real thrilled about
flavored beers, right? Beer.
No.
And from the information, it's not like I go out my way and ask, but I've been to a couple of my local craft breweries, and they want pot legalized, because they want to start brewing cannabis beers.
Ooh,
You
wow.
ever looked into cannabis beers at all?
I had one. I had that Humboldt hemp ale.
Or was that brewed?
Tastes like an old rope. That's brewed.
Wow.
No,
Interesting.
it was brewed in California. No, it tasted good. You know, it's like cannabis comes from a weed, right?
Yep.
So I guess if you want to put a weed in your beer, but
Yeah,
like a gimmick, right? It's sort of like a gimmick.
hemp and cannabis are in the same flowering family as hops, apparently.
Hops and marijuana.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Same
right.
family, strangely
Same
enough.
family.
Hey, well, look,
Whatever the word is.
you know my political outlook, so
That's all right with us.
I think it should be left up to the states.
10th Amendment.
Yes, 10th
Right.
Amendment, correct.
Yeah, but
10th Amendment.
better
This
not
bitch
get,
is smart.
we better
Better not, right? Yep.
get started on that.
No. I'm trying to be real easy on that.
Right, because if I get started, this video will go on for all night. Hey,
Different topic all of a
Go
sudden.
pop some popcorn.
yeah, right. But you know, I'm sure all of us, like Lee Poznansky and all, we have all kind of different political viewpoints. Like some people are real left wing, others are perhaps right wing. Ha ha ha. But
Down the middle.
some are down the middle. Oh well, whoever said you had to agree, go Rubio. Well, Eric won't be on this anymore. Whoever said you had to agree with people on politics, it's like, grow up, man.
Yep.
You got to get so mad about politics.
Go
And
have
then
a beer
people say-
together. Go
Yeah,
share
people
your
say-
differences somewhere else.
Right, and people say religion. Oh well, don't get so mad. Why does everybody have to get so mad?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are mad in the craft beer industry at the at a company, say like Anheuser-Busch, that all they want to do is buy everybody else out.
Okay, good.
Like
Let them buy
this
everybody
company
out.
here, Four Peaks.
Yeah, let them buy everybody out. I don't care.
Yeah, that'll just create a
Hey,
disgusting conversation in
I
your
don't
mouth.
care. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care, but you might care. You might really be upset about it. That matters to me. I'm not a big person that's into the struggle. I'll try to tell you all that before.
Also, when I was in Total Wine tonight, the area sales manager, which was one of the main managers for Bold Rock. Have you ever heard of them? Bold Rock.
No. Mm-mm.
They're based out of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia,
Oh, okay.
and they produce, in my opinion, one of the finest ciders, apple ciders, I've ever had.
Ugh.
He told me that Anheuser-Busch is putting up massive amounts of money to buy out a cider brewer. And so apparently they've been approached.
Yeah, well, doesn't Anheuser-Busch have their own cider line that's Smith and Forge or whatever, or is that
That's Miller.
Yeah.
That's Miller. Or it's not Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, that's right. But Anheuser-Busch has their own
No,
cider.
they have Johnny Appleseed, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep. That's
But
right.
it's been a big failure. It's a failure.
Oh, yeah?
Towards my end of working at the distributorship, I never saw it.
Yeah, I think Miller owns the Crispin cider line.
They own.
That's an awesome line of ciders.
It's good, but it's real sketchy and it's very expensive.
Hey, I don't want to start talking about cider.
Well, okay, but hold
Cider
on.
project. Come on, Jay, let's do it.
It's very big money,
I hate freaking
and
cider.
it's just amazing how much money Anheuser-Busch is putting up in order to take over that segment. Because Angry Orchard has such a big segment here on the East Coast.
Yeah,
It's
and
so big.
that's Boston Beer Company. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
making so much money. It's ridiculous.
Well, hey, see, so people love cider. I hate cider. I could make a whole series called "I Hate Cider and Here's Why" and just go. But I have to drink fruit every day. You know, like apple juice, just to force myself to drink some fruit. I hate fruit. You know, I hate soft drinks now. I used to always drink Dr. Pepper and Coke and Pepsi and RC Cola and all that, but I can't stand it now. Now I know why I used to feel bad all the time. I used to drink soft drinks. Heady topper. Well, I feel a lot better now that I drink beer. I wish I'd have started drinking beer at 18 years old and never drink soft drinks, because I'd have saved myself 10 years of feeling kind of yucky. But I'm telling you, I like to drink beers with meals like
I can tell you this though, why I like ciders. Like when you go out, let's say you take a date out. If she buys a cider, that cider's gonna be a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot more quantity-wise than that glass of wine or that mixed drink. Because mixed drinks are expensive as hell.
I know.
That's why I appreciate that. I appreciate them.
I think the cider. I think you were kind of. I think you're kind of close to the mark on that. I think the cider industry definitely is able. I don't think they're trying to, but it just happens that they are able to market themselves to a wide variety of different kinds of drinkers. Like the beer drinker, obviously, a lot of beer drinkers do like cider, and a lot of wine drinkers would like cider. And I think a lot of people that like those sort of fruitier, if not sort of on the girlyish side of the cocktail drinkers, would really like cider.
Every time I drink a cider, a part of me dies.
Oh, no.
You know why? Because I just wasted time in my life where I could have been drinking a beer. And I can't stand these flavored beers. I drink these flavored beers, and I say, damn, like this Henry's ginger ale and this Henry's orange drink, and I say, look, that's 2 times in my life I just drank this hunk of junk stuff.
Yep.
And this Red's apple ale and all this other stuff, and I even give them good scores, right?
Yep.
But I still hate it, you know. Like I drank the Red's mango, wicked mango, and the Red's wicked apple, and the Red's wicked that other real strong one. They're all okay in the genre, but I hate the genre. You know, that's just a personal preference. That's a personal preference thing.
I think there's a difference between there being a flavor like a coffee stout. I guess you could consider a coffee stout a flavored beer, but there's a difference to me between adding a flavor, adding a type of an adjunct like coffee to a beer versus like a Red's apple ale where you're trying to make the beer taste nothing like a beer in the first place.
It's still a bull crap thing to do though. Like you're adding coffee and you're adding chocolate and you're adding banana and you're adding all of that. It's still cheating, you know. It's still pro wrestling.
According to Germany, it's cheating. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just. But that, and people are gonna say, "Look what he said! Look what he said!" Okay, good, fine. I said it. I'd rather drink beers that taste like beer. Okay, I don't care. I drink the chocolate stouts to try them out, and I say, "Oh yeah, like Samuel Smith's chocolate stout. It's awesome. It's an A+ concoction." It's not really a real beer, though. I mean, a beer is a beer, like the new Budweiser commercial. Oh, Lord. I'm not even going to talk about that because I'm going to...
the Pumpkin Patch Ale or whatever it is.
No, the one this year, the one they just come out with this year is even more, like, obnoxious.
Oh, it's anti-craft or whatever, or you don't have to worry about being craft.
No, it's not anti-craft.
Oh, good.
The one last year wasn't anti-craft. It was anti-baby cry is what it was.
I mean, I don't care who you are or what kind of a beer style of a drinker that you are. When I went on that beer tour about 2 years ago in Merrimack, New Hampshire, of the Anheuser-Busch facility, I thought that was so cool and so awesome because I think a lot of these. I mean, I'm not trying to get into a macro versus micro, but
don't get into that.
But what I'm saying is I think a lot of macro are getting my terms mixed up. I think a lot of these craft brewing type people are actually secretly really jealous of the big industry brewers because let's say Budweiser, just the lager of Budweiser, it's so hard to produce that beer consistently batch after batch after batch. They have to be laser point precise on making that one beer, and it's very, very hard for even the smallest of nano breweries to even do something like that.
I know, and then people get angry about that.
It's a craft in making those beers. There's a craft in making any kind of a beer. Even John's Magnum over there is a craft in making that, right?
Yeah, I think the whole approach there, I mean, even that approach is fake. I mean, I know Anheuser-Busch, their commercials are like gauged and they're prepared and they're trying to affect something. I understand all that. I understand how marketing works. But the whole marketing, and it's by people that probably don't even believe in what they're saying. Okay, I understand all that. I'm not like born yesterday. but what that theme of it is this. They're saying grow up. Like stop being a big titty baby and a it's like it's a beer. It's Budweiser. Drink it or don't drink it. Like they said, don't drink it if you don't like it. It's not for everybody. It's for it's like for more like I think what the commercial is really trying to say without saying it because of the politically correct world we live in, or you want to say
I hate it.
If you want to say communist. But what they're saying is they're saying
I'll say it. Communist.
They're saying, you know, Budweiser is more like a macho man-oriented beer. It's not a metrosexual type product. So it may not be for you. And I know that's like a, and they're trying to get into that, yeah, I work at the refinery and I'm a tough guy and I'll kick your ass, man.
Right.
If you criticize Budweiser, you big faggot, you know, excuse my language, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're trying to tap into. And I mean, it's probably all fake, you know, but I mean.
But Budweiser is so much of Americana in American history that people can say have that.
You got people that'll feed into it, and they're like, "You're damn right, Budweiser. You want to fight? I'll punch you in the nose."
Yeah,
you know, it's like, and they'll feed into it. They'll feed into it. But in my view, I'm just like sitting back looking at it, and I'm saying, okay, I see what they're trying to do, and all these other people, like last year in 2016, I was watching the Super Bowl, and when the ad came out, I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to spend half my day on Facebook with all these people saying, look what they did, look what they did. I'm like, can't you understand that you were set up and you're falling for this?
Exactly.
The whole thing, if you're getting mad and offended by the Budweiser pumpkin peach ale, you fell for the setup. I mean, come on, man, can't you realize you fell for this? It's like, why would you get offended? But I knew it was coming, and then they were all saying, oh, I'm so hurt. I hate them. I hate this evil empire. I hate Palpatine.
That's right. I like to be the person.
We're gonna win.
I like to be the person, especially at parties. I like to be the person again. I think I've said this a couple of times, even if it wasn't in this video, in past Wednesday night beer examinations. But I've said it before, where all three of us, I think, all three of us are pretty much. We like the craft beers and we like the American style lagers kind of beers. And I like to be the kind of a person at a party where I can drink those kind of beers and I can bring those kind of beers to a party too. And if I want to bring a little bit of a different sort of a styled beer, I can do that as well and be very accommodating. And I think it's kind of cool to be accommodating and have people try different beers and them saying, "Oh, I wouldn't have had that beer if you didn't bring it, so thanks for bringing it."
Yeah, and the coolest thing is to be free, like to have a free mind, like to not be held up by these things where you're thinking to yourself like, oh, if I drink this, like Jonathan, he's going to drink Magnum. If I drink this, people are going to be angry or say something about me. Now, like Tom the Beer Whisperer said, and I don't disagree with him, he said, well, you get a lot of this anti-craft beer hatred coming from the macro people like the 40-ounce crew. I've seen 40-ounce crew videos where they're like saying, I'm going to drink some craft beer now, and they pop the cap and they dump the whole beer out, and then he pops another cap, he dumps that out on the ground, then he pops another cap and dumps that on the ground, and then he pulls out a bottle of like Steel Reserve 211 and he guzzles that in like 10 minutes.
Bruise 40 or Tiny Tim Roushade or something like that.
Yeah, somebody's like, oh, did you see what he did?
Tiny Tim is the man.
Did you see what he did? It's like, can't you? It was funny to me. I mean, you know, it's obviously a joke. It's a joke.
Anybody that can drink a 40 in 10 seconds should have a statue.
He can drink a 40 in 10 seconds and eat a whole bucket of KFC in 2 minutes. That is just not even. That's not even what we do here.
Yeah, and I never watched those kind of videos. Not because I'm offended by them or it hurts me. I'm just not interested in them. But I mean, right. That's a whole community, and they're all into that. And the Brister was telling us, like, he started doing those crazy videos, and he's having a lot of fun with it. He made
a lot of money.
Yeah, and he's like, the Brister said, he knows it's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. The whole thing, everybody that does it knows it's a joke.
That's like, a good thing about the Brister. That's a good thing about the Brister because he watches. I think he watches enough of those videos where he can sort of, in a joking way, where it almost doesn't offend anybody. He can sort of just automatically make fun of these people, and he's not even trying to offend anybody. But they all know that he's making fun of you. But we should laugh at the same time. Why can't we just laugh?
I had this experience where some people were saying to me on my videos, "Hey, mother, you don't know nothing, blah 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 about that beer." And I was like, yeah, but it does have kind of a good flavor when you mix that tomato. It was like Budweiser Clamato.
Oh, yeah.
What type of hood speak is that? No,
so the guy was like, I was trying to make you mad, and you just started talking about the beer, and that's pretty cool. So it's like I had to get jumped in, So it's like if you're gonna deal with the malt liquor drinking community, you got to get jumped in.
Yeah.
Well, I've been jumped in, so I'm not really worried about that because they know where I stand with that. But that's why I'm always cool with the malt liquor drinking community because I've done the whole malt liquor project, so I don't have any kind of like hang-ups with that.
I've had a couple of people on the last couple of videos that I posted on my Massachusetts beer reviews that will say that they'll comment twice. Somebody will say, pardon my language, somebody will say, "You fag," and then the next comment will be, "Drink more malt liquor." I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, the whole homosexual thing is like a real big part of the beer drinking community.
Yes.
From the craft world down to the Thunderbird wine and the Wild Irish Rose wine world, because it's like you get irritated with somebody, you automatically want to say that they're this and that, and it's like, I don't know why there has to be latent homosexuality, but that's part of the beer world, I guess. I'm just drinking it, right? Right, Jonathan? We just drinking it?
Yeah. Swollen.
Please agree with me. Hey, no, but really, I think the final assessment of it is if you have a lot of hang-ups, this may not be for you. Because you're going to get really upset. You agree with that? You heard what I said?
Hello?
You hear me?
Ronald?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm talking.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I thought you were still talking to Eric.
No, he said he had to go. He probably had to go to the bathroom. He said he'll be back.
Oh, so what did you say to me? I'm sorry.
I was saying if you're doing beer reviews and beer hangouts and beer blah, blah, blah that goes on at, forever, because people do 600 hangouts a night.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's like a lot of them, right? So don't watch mine. Watch somebody else's. What are they going to talk about? Beer, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying if you have hang-ups, this may not be for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree.
Don't jump into this if you got a lot of hang-ups.
Yeah. Just chill and be a part of it.
Just chill and be a part of it.
Don't drink that hater ale. You heard of that Haterade?
Oh, yeah, they got people they drink Haterade when they wake up in the morning.
Yeah. And the hater ale when they go to bed.
And they drinking a lot of hater ale, but we don't hate you. We love everybody. That's why I have that Facebook group called Jubilee Beer Reviews.
Oh.
But which nobody ever comments on because it's like a dead group. It's funny because on Facebook I administer like 5 or 6 groups that have no purpose. And what happened was I got invited into these groups by people, and then the people that started the groups quit the groups.
Ain't that a damn shame?
Yeah, the creators quit the groups. So then Facebook's like, you want to take it over? I was like, all right. So I just totally changed it. It's comical.
Hey Jay, what's the temperature down there right now in southeastern Louisiana?
You're mocking my videos because I always say that. It's about 50 degrees. It's going to get down to 38 tonight.
So I think it's supposed to get in around 29, 30 degrees here.
Well, I just got 6 to about 8 inches of snow today. That was fun.
That sounds. It got down to 35 degrees last night. Thank you.
What was the coldest it's gotten this winter?
31.
Fun. Awesome.
It
Get
got
how you feel.
in the greater Richmond area on the north side of the James River. I'm sure you know what the James River is.
Yeah, I know about Jamestown. Don't be mad at me because we got warmth. Hey, but
it got in the mid to low 20s, and we got 16 inches of snow. That stunk. That tore this area up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shut down for 3-4 days.
I would hate that. Louisiana. I always say this. Louisiana is too cold for me. I would go live in Miami right now. I would live in Miami right now if it wasn't for my family. I can't abandon my family, so I just have to suffer with cold. I hate cold weather. I like when I'm doing beer reviews and somebody was saying, I'm not going to go into that about doing beer reviews outside. That's too. But when I sit outside, I'm sweating like in the summer, and I got sweat rolling down me, and I'm wearing a T-shirt, and I'm doing a beer review. I love that, man. I love being out in the heat. I love heat.
I've always said when I retire, I'm going to move to Charleston, South Carolina. It's nice and warm down there.
That'll be nice.
Still too cold. Still too cold. You better keep going down to Florida City.
It's only like a 4-hour drive to Florida.
Yeah, but why not be in the heat instead of near the heat? Charleston.
Hey, have you ever been to Florida in the wintertime?
No.
Dude, it's really weird. Like when you're anywhere in Florida, you get this cold fog that comes over. You might get it in Louisiana.
Oh
You get this really cold fog, and it's just as cold as being in 20-degree weather. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, Jonathan, I talked about that in so many videos. Louisiana is cold because we have the high humidity. So it could be 40 degrees here.
Yeah.
40 degrees here, and it's going to feel like 18 degrees where you are or Eric is.
Do you get that, Eric?
Yes.
Yeah. In Massachusetts?
Mm-hmm. Entirely.
Believe me, the winter
really cold fog. It blankets you.
Yeah, believe me, the winter time in Louisiana is miserable because of that humidity. You just feel cold. It's not cold.
It's wet.
But you feel cold. Believe me.
It's very wet today, I tell you that.
Oh, you will feel cold. But anyway, that's why we drink beer, so we can feel warm. Now, that's why we drink malt liquor, so we can feel warm.
And I'd like to say personally, happy beer drinking anniversary to Jay, and hopefully many more days of positive, responsible drinking on the YouTube and the beer community on in the internet. Cheers.
Thank you, Eric. It's been 20 fun years, mostly, but mostly fun. And it's been a fun project. I feel like it just got started. It seemed like it just got started. That 20 years of beer drinking went by in a flash.
I think it's definitely harder. It's probably harder today than when you started to keep up with all the new beers, and especially in the beer.
Oh, well, that's impossible. That's impossible. People contact me all the time. Try this, try that, try this, try that. This goes on all day, all day. Try this, try that, try this, try that, try this.
The other thing I was going to say was to especially try to in this day and age, to especially try to not even just anticipate, but to keep, if you like to do that, which you might not actually, which is cool to me, but you might find it a difficult task to try to keep up with all these new beer drinking trends. Like I think a couple of trends these days are either, I think at one point in time, session IPAs were a really big trend. I think barrel aged everything is a trend right now, and I also think having a base beer, having one base beer, and then making like 5, 6, or 7 variants of that one beer is a really big trend right now.
Yeah, look, you can't try everything, and if you're trying to try everything, you're going to get so depressed so quick, you're going to quit doing beer reviews, your channel will die.
Yep.
And that'll be it. And here's the last thing I want to say. Well, two things. First of all, I appreciate y'all joining me. Secondly, it's been a fun 20 years. Thirdly, I've seen so many beer reviewers, I'm talking about online, they come on, they got all these big projects, they got the best graphics you ever saw in your life this side of Star Wars, and then nothing. Nothing happens. There's no product. And we've seen it happen a million times. They're here, they're on fire, and they're gone in a flash. And so there's very few of the original guys still around. But people say it gets so boring. Like Chad's Beer Reviews announced today that he's finally quitting. He can't stand it anymore.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's out. He's been out really for about 3 years, but he's out.
Who's the original? The original's got to be like, what, Joe D or something like that?
Oh, well, the whole original, we have to do another video for that. This is going on an hour. That would be a great video to do, like, video beer reviewers. Here they, how they've come on the scene and died out. And that's a whole nother story. So it's been an hour. It's been a fun hour.
Yes.
People might watch this Hangout. I watch Hangouts sometimes, not too much, though, frankly. And y'all have a good night. 20 years. Let's see what happens in the next 20 years. God willing, we'll do 20 more years.
And before you go, I would like to say thank you to yourself, Jay, because if it wasn't, I assume for John as well, but for me especially, because I started doing my own beer reviewing page. I think, and I don't want to take credit for it, so forgive me if I try to take credit for it, but I remember, I think it was December of 2013, I remember messaging you on Facebook saying we should do a review sometime on like Skype or something. How do we get that done? And then we did that one review of Miller High Life, and then I think, soon after that, everybody was trying to do these like these video online hangouts and do beer reviews with each other. I don't know if we were the first ones to do it, but I think you and I were one of those first guys to do it.
No, we weren't the first. They had people doing that so long ago, but you did kind of start it with in my case, so that was a good idea.
And I didn't know how to do that, but I thought that maybe Skype was a good way to do it or something like that. But because of that first interaction, I think that's kind of where you are in this whole beer, just get together people and hang out and have a beer kind of an experience, and that's cool. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I think
keep doing it.
I think you did kind of initiate that, if I recall right. And let me take one credit. Who came up with the name Massachusetts Beer Reviews?
You did.
And California Beer Reviews.
There's got to be a way that we can get all these states together, but we can never
New England
do
Beer Reviews.
I could start Virginia Beer Reviews.
I came up with that idea because I figured you could represent your whole state. So that's why I started Louisiana Beer Reviews, and I said you should do Massachusetts, and Keone should do California, and I told Jeff Lyons, he used to call it Pub of Lions Beer Reviews. I said, no one knows what that means. That's confusing people. So why don't you make it New England Beer Reviews? He said, good.
Yeah. And there's also
changed it to New England Beer Reviews.
And there's also Kentucky Brew Reviews or Beer Reviews.
Right. They didn't get. I didn't suggest that to them, but I think the idea they got with the whole state thing,
So hopefully this whole kind of a trend grows, and the United States of beer reviewers can eventually become
everybody will have
pals throughout the YouTube community. That would be awesome.
So there's somebody that's going to one-up everybody. He's going to have world beer reviews.
The United States Beer Reviews.
The world. Earth Beer Reviews. Okay, well, thanks, folks, for watching this video production. And y'all come on down to Louisiana, Virginia, and Massachusetts.
Go Patriots.
Panthers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see them win their first Super Bowl, but I am pulling for Denver. All right, bye.